Pang of insecurity in many parts of Nigeria remains a bitter pill for many to swallow. The chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Kaduna State, Joseph John Hayab, said bandits killed 23 pastors and shut down 200 churches across the states in the past 4 months. Speaking during a meeting with the State Commissioner of Police, Musa Yusuf Gaba, and pastors from different denominations in the 23 local government areas of the states, Hayab explained that the church has gone through difficult times due to activities of criminals. We don't know, maybe this is largely underreported. For us to have this kind of statistics, it's very, very surprising that within Nigeria, we could record this kind of activity. Do you think, for me, I don't think it's a purely religious thing. But randomly, some states in the north, they are not just secured.
I think it's a very unfortunate thing that Kaduna, that used to be the, the watershed of London civilization, political civilization, is now on a great decline. The Kaduna used to be the most peaceful city, in northern Nigeria. In fact, people from the south, from everywhere, Kaduna used to be the hub. And unfortunately, it's a different story. And if you look at every city in this country, I think Kaduna is the most policed, because NDA, best military institutions, Air Force, Navy, they are all in Kaduna. Not most, but a lot of military institutions are in Kaduna. Yet, this kind of thing is happening. I think, like you have said, I don't think it's essentially a Christian-Muslim conflict. I see it as a breakdown of trust. I think that's the fundamental issue. Breakdown of trust among the people themselves, and then between the government, and the people. And over the years, we have allowed this problem to build up, without addressing the problem. And I think it has so many strands. There is ethnic dimension, there is religious dimension, there's cultural dimension, there's also economic dimension. People are questioning land ownership, resource allocation, over ancestral land and all that. So it's not just a religious thing, because there are also, if you ask Muslims to also come up with statistics, they will tell you a lot of imams that have been killed, a lot of Muslims that have been killed. In fact, there are situations where Muslims also kill Muslims in Kaduna. Christians also kill Christians. So we should avoid the temptation of giving it a single narration that is just Christian. We have to look at it, from dialectics of all the issues that are involved. But I think what is important now is that we need to find a solution to this problem. And we should not make the mistake to live under the illusion that, it's a Kaduna problem. If Kaduna burns today, continue to burn, Nigeria will not be at peace. It's going to affect, it's like a cobweb. Anywhere you draw, it will affect the whole network. So it's our problem. Northern leaders must rise up to this occasion. Leaders all over the country must rise up to this occasion, and so that Kaduna can regain its heritage, can regain its history. And I think we need to work together. Third parties, civil society organizations, Christian leaders, especially those who are known for preaching hate in a mosque, on the temple. They need to stop that kind of thing. And let us work together to see how we can rebuild Kaduna to the prosperity and peace and harmony of all of us. Because if Kaduna is in trouble, definitely it's going to spread to other parts of the country. It's a challenge for the new government, and I hope the president also realizes the enormity of this problem, and they will work together with the state government to ensure that they bring back the heritage and civilization of Kaduna.
So it's all about, when a state like that, and if you see what they went through the last administration, when Samuel Arwan used to give, is it monthly or quarterly brief about the state of insecurity in that state, it was one of those states that I know that the number of killings and everything, they don't shy away from reporting, giving us accurate figures and everything. But it persistently, throughout that administration, Southern Kaduna has always been, a source of concern.
I was just looking at the statistics, and just like Wale said, it's not about the religious part of it, because Muslims are also affected. Traditionalists are also affected, you know. I think where we need to look at is how traditional rulers can seriously assist, particularly when you have different religious groups staying in your domain, how you can assist in trying to make sure that they are safe. For instance, if it is in the south, any tribe, any religion should be able to, thrive can stay in your religion, in your area, and you must secure that person. So traditional rulers should be held accountable in anything that happens in their community, because that is why they are traditional rulers. Because if, for instance, if we had a state police, or we have state police that will now break down to community police, we won't be talking about having traditional rulers to help assist in this. So we need our traditional rulers to help guide people who come to their community. Before coming, I was reading a particular article on corps members who were traveling to Zamfara and they were kidnapped. It's Akwa Ibom corps members that were kidnapped. They were able to, bring out 13 million for them to be freed. But at the end of the day, the kidnappers are saying they want 200 million. So these kidnappers stay somewhere. You can't tell me that most traditional rulers do not know that kidnappers are in their domain. So why can't they pass that same information to the police? And that is where I also want to talk about trust in the institution. If a traditional ruler goes to the police and say, I feel in that my forest, or there's a forest around my area, there are kidnappers, the police, the traditional should be confident enough to know that I'm passing this information in trust. And so, please do not tell these kidnappers that I actually told you. So, the police also should be involved. People should be able to be confident enough to go and tell the police, give the police information, and then they can sleep easy. If not, we'll keep having these issues. So Nigerians should not look. I know the caption is going to wow so many people. People will be angry, but these killings happens to all faiths in Nigeria. And so the only way we can do this is for us to help ourselves. The police will have to be involved. The traditional rulers have to be involved. The youths, they also have to be involved.
Have to be on deck.
Now that we are talking about, because people will say, it's because of poverty, that is why people are kidnapping. Poverty, hunger, I know there's serious hunger, but it shouldn't make you go into crime. Because then once you go into crime, if you are being arrested, you'll be prosecuted. And when you are being arrested and prosecuted, our laws should be so stringent that any kidnapper that is being caught, you should have serious jail term, whereby by the time he gets into the correctional facility, he should know that, okay, what he actually did was serious. So it's a big call for this administration. We are very sympathetic to them because it was already there, So we've been shouting and shouting about it, but they came to face it, and so they have to face it and find solution to it.
Wale?
Well, one thing is, because we had a conference in Kaduna, which was supported by Ford Foundation. It was on peace building. And then what we discovered at that time, the former commissioner was also there for internal security. There are three major problems we discovered. The first one is delayed response. When there are flashpoints of crisis, either from the government. For instance, if two people fight and they are both from different religions, they kill each other. That thing will be on. Nobody does anything on time. Then, either from the government or from security agencies. Look at today, if you want to travel, you want to Uber, you just press the button, and then the Uber comes in how many minutes? 10 minutes. Why can't we have the same thing for our policemen, like they have abroad? What is so special about that? Some people design that app that if you call Uber or whatever, 10 minutes is there. So that's why you see security abroad that if there is a problem, 5 minutes, less than 10 minutes, they are there. That doesn't happen in Kaduna, and just like we have in other parts of the country. The other problem is lack of sustainable peace building mechanism. When the government brings people together, not only in Kaduna, they come and talk, Christian, Muslims, they just do it. Maybe the next time will be 6 months' time. Or maybe when it's election time, they call them again. If we want to build sustainable peace, there should be constant interaction. Maybe every month, they'll be holding meetings together, discussing together. If there are issues in every particular month, they can come together to resolve it. Then the justice system is another problem. Most of those who perpetrate crime, who kill people, there's no justice for the victims. There's no justice for perpetrators of crime. There's also no justice for the society. So you see a lot of people who perpetrate crime, they walk on the street, nothing happens to them. So when you have these major pillars that are not addressed, you see that you continue to have, a spiral, effect of a crisis upon crisis that people, are unable to resolve.
As you have a formal complaint from the Christian Association of Nigeria, do you think we should, the police should make efforts to guard these churches and clerics?
Like we said, it shouldn't just be only about the pastors only. What of the imams? You understand? It shouldn't just be only about, they have made they have raised this alarm, but it shouldn't just be about only the churches.
So we're talking about 23 pastors, and
now.
shut down over 200
in fact,
churches
this pastor
across
that came out
in the past 4 months.
tell us about this whole thing, he has members in the bush, still in the bush. They were kidnapped since August. Okay? So he is coming out to now tell you that sometimes their doctors will call him and say, please pray for your members. So what the police should do is get this information and see how they can. Nigeria is very large, but there are so many places in Nigeria that there's no network.
Yeah.
Just like you're talking about us having app that looks like the Uber and Co. There are some places in Nigeria where once you are passing, even there's no network at all. So there are that is why we have so many ungoverned spaces in Nigeria. Police cannot get to some places. You tell police, let's go to one particular, it's in one forest. They'll say, we can't go there. Because they are not equipped. You have to also equip the police. You have to give them good welfare. Because no police officer who has not eaten since morning, maybe is wearing slippers, then you now say you should go and fight a bandit. No. You need to also kit them properly, give them confidence that when once there's that distress call, they should be able to go all out for it. There are so many places. So the network has to be there. Thank God we now have ministers who are ready to work. So they can't tell me that it's everywhere in Nigeria that you have network.
Yeah.
We can tell them for free here that there are so many places in Nigeria there is no network. So many. Even in this Lagos, there are some places that you go to, you won't see network.
Even where there's network, you don't get
So it's just like that. So it is not about a Christian thing or a Muslim thing. So the police will have to find how they can bring everybody to see how they can solve the problem. The pastors the C.A.N is saying something now. Very soon you'll see that these Islamic clerics will also come out. They will also say, their members are being killed and kidnapped too.
Okay, so, I'm afraid we have to leave it there.